And now let's watch a little bit of Passengers, a music by Stephen with collaboration of Lou Reed.
Ever since childhood, when I lived within earshot of the Boston and Maine, I have seldom heard a train go by and not wished I was on it. Those whistles sing bewitchment. Railways are irresistible bazaars, snaking along perfectly level no matter what the landscape, improving the mood with speed and never upsetting your drink. If a train is large and comfortable, you don't even need a destination, but I had chosen Asia. Anything is possible on a train. A good meal, a binge, a visit from card players, an intrigue, a good night's sleep, and strangers' monologues framed like Russian short stories. It was my intention to board every train that chugged into view from Victoria Station in London to Tokyo Central, to take the branch line to Simla, the spur through the Khyber Pass and the cord line that links Indian railways with those in Ceylon, the Mandalay Express, the Malaysian Golden Arrow, the locals in Vietnam, and the trains with bewitching names, the Orient Express, the North Star, the Trans-Siberian. I saw trains. I found passengers.
Talking about fanboys, now I'm going to play the fangirl. Like, I love David Bowie. Wow. So it's my all-time favorite one. So tell us everything about collaborating with Tony Visconti, please.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
How it goes? How did you end up with him? Because he was the longest collaborator of David Bowie. So how did you got there? How did you start working with him?
Well, this is something where I can tell you the exception to the rule. The rule was I approach people and then see if they're willing to collaborate. Now over here, it was quite different because for everybody who knows TikTok and Facebook, etc., there once happened to be another website and community called MySpace. And most musicians at the time posted their stuff on MySpace. And some of them got record deals, and some of them got gigs, and some of them heard nothing. And I got something different out of it, which is that I was just at home in Amsterdam after I posted a few demos there weeks earlier on the myspace.com site. And what happened was that the phone rang, and a person with a, sopranos type of accent.
A mobster accent.
Yeah. Hi, this is Joe D'Ambrosio, and I'm looking for Stephen Emmer. Wow.
What have I done?
Yeah. I'm not guilty. So what happened was that he said, I represent a certain person. He mystified at first, and he heard your stuff on MySpace, but that's only demos. Yeah, but he believes you are onto something interesting with that type of music, and he invites you over to New York. So you know the cliche about the Dutch is similar to the one of the Scots, which is, then you're worried about money and tight, not generous. So I said, but I have no money for that to come to New York. And who is the person then who you represent? And he said, well, it's Mr. Visconti. And as the fangirl and the fanboy know, that is David Bowie's producer. So I was freezing up a little, on the phone. And
you find the money.
Yeah.
I have a lot of money to travel. I go, right?
Yeah. Well, it was much more posh than that even, because in the dialogue, it wasn't me speaking out the immortal words, but that was this guy. Because I said, I have no money to pay for whoever you represent, certainly not for Mr. Visconti. And then this agent said, as you can imagine, Mr. Visconti is no longer in the music business for the money. He invites you over. Oh, wow. So that's what happened. And and we worked together, and that was, I can tell you a bit about that. But that was the kickoff of that collaboration.
And when you go and you collaborate with these amazing persons, do you still have freedom to say, hey, wait a bit, I don't like it?
Yeah.
Or they don't, you feel a little bit more ashamed of saying something, or?
It's a bit of all of that, because, I was instructed as a relative anonymous artist. I was instructed by the same threatening agent. He said, when you arrive in the studio, you take a seat in the back, you wait for Mr. Visconti to tell you something, then you leave, you go shopping, he does your music, and at the end of the day, you come back and you say that it's become wonderful. Okay. And I sat there with Visconti himself, who is the actual legend, not the agent, of course. And as it often goes, and that's also a reassurance for everybody who wants to try this sort of thing, usually the legend itself is far more open-minded and friendly. So I said to him, I think I should be shopping now. Where is the shopping area close to the studio? And he said, no, surely not. We're going to do this together. And that's how it started.
So it's a very interesting story how you work together with such a big star. But what I also wonder is, how does that collaboration then actually goes? Are you nervous and just leaving him do his thing, or do you dare to still interrupt such a big idol?
Human nature, now this is a more general point of view, relevant to the case, I believe. Human nature is about earning mutual trust, right? So what happened was, in the beginning, obviously you're nervous, you're shy, and in the power hierarchy, you don't know where you stand, because it's a favor, you're over there. But after 20 bars of music, that all vanishes. And it's more like, how about? And there wasn't a duel, but a battle, but it was a duet. You know, you both have, if you have something worthwhile saying, there was equal freedom to say so, but also mostly from his side, of course, because he was, you know, he's a big man. So what I like of people who become that legendary, they're usually the most modest people there are. And he humbled himself, because I thought some of the stuff I did wasn't particularly up to standard yet, but it would have been easy for him to say, look, David and I usually do this 10 times better or something. Not at all. It was generous. It was humble from his side. If that is how you have fantasized about it, that's how we're going to do it, Stephen. So later on, when I worked with lesser gods, I often thought and had a more negative experience than this. It was very agreeable.
I believe it's just like babies. But do you have any project between all the projects you have worked with that has a special space in your heart?
Well, one of these moments was actually in that studio with Tony Visconti, because I have one more track with him to go for that album called Recitement, and where he decided to answer my question of, do you know another good voiceover for the last track? He said, I don't know. How about yourself? And he said, no, I don't do that sort of thing. But what I'll do is I'll ask an old friend, see what he thinks. And a couple of hours later, the friend has replied that he doesn't mind doing a little European arty-farty project. Oh, who's your friend? Yeah, that's Lou Reed. He'll be here tomorrow. So that was.
How does it feel? Well, tell me.
I was doing the same thing as I do right now. I'm just trying to remain constrained. Like, if it's normal that we talk this way with each other. And that was the same over there, that, oh, yeah, so when is he going to come? And you speak about what time, and is that before or after lunch? And yeah, but he has a few demands. Oh, what are they? Well, he only is willing to do it when there is the availability of a golden manly microphone. And I said, so how are we going to get it? It's here in the cupboard, Tony said. So, okay, sure.
You have worked in so many different genres with so many different persons from different genres. Do you have any musical reference, or everything is a musical reference? How does it work?
A fellow artist in Holland called Philip Akkerman is a artistic painter who has a unique viewpoint on life and artistry, because what he has been doing for the last 35 years is do a self-portrait each day for 35 years. So that's him. But he heard my music and decided to give me a little note on my music. And he said, what I do is pretty strange, he said, painting myself for years. However, my mindset is therefore very, unorthodox. But when I listen to your music, I feel that's even weirder, because I hear cross-references of any genre, of any artist, of any age, any period. And he said, that labyrinth in your head, I'm already getting tired if I think of it. And I didn't know what to make out of this, but in the end I thought, yeah, that's a very specific type of compliment you can give another person.
And I've heard, which is something you do, which I thought it was really funny, that you are blacklisting places that play music, public places. So you have a loud mind, so you tone down everything around you, the music around you?
Yeah. A colleague of mine, he's an artist I also admire greatly, because he does free music and media music. His name is Ruichi Sakamoto. He recently made a playlist for a restaurant where he was eating himself in downtown New York because he just couldn't stand the selection of the playlist there. And I guess what it is that, you know, our ears of people who create music themselves have become not only oversensitive, and I rebel against the word over, by the way. They've simply become sensitive, like a dog has a very sensitive ear. So when that's your main tool in life, in your activities, that's where your fixation also starts to pop up. So you can't turn it off. Your professionally trained hearing, you can't say, I'll switch it off in the restroom with Bon Jovi, but you have to. So I rebel against that, and I came up with a wish, with an idea to make a working title, the so-called acoustic guide. And the acoustic guide, everybody online wanting to say, let's have some Thai food tonight. And then you look at which restaurant you go, has it got a nice rating, reviews. And what I would like to add in the acoustic guide is, yeah, but they play Bon Jovi. And then you make your choice, every single one of us in the world. Don't fancy that. I'd rather go to another one.